What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house, this is not going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
A very good day to you and welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted. My name is Jadiel Kabiro, ready for a political conversation this Good Friday with Philip Kisia, who is a man who says it as he sees it. I say he calls a spade a spade. He doesn't mince his words because that's true. Our conversation for today is about division to redemption. We're looking at apologies and forgiveness conversation in this country. Cabinet Secretary for Public Service Performance and Delivery Management, Moses Kuria, apologizing to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua apologizing to Mama Ngina Kenyatta over 2022 presidential polls utterances. You look at Roots Party, flag bearer for 2022, George Ojakoya, apologizing, actually extending an olive branch to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. We're all looking for forgiveness. We all want to apologize because Kenya must move forward. My conversation for today with Philip Kisia is about that. Are we genuine in our conversation about forgiveness every single year? We have prayer breakfast here in the country and we all talk about forgiveness, but why do we go back to the same rabbit hole? Philip Kisia, thanks for making time for me once again this fine Good Friday. Jesus Christ died and he will rise again on Monday. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man.
How's the week been for you?
The week has been okay. Of course, I was here yesterday. I'm here today to close the week and begin my Easter.
Kenyans are telling me on our comment section, Kisia for governor after yesterday's conversation. Have you considered that? Have you considered the ballot for 2027 vying as a gubernatorial aspirant here?
I mean, I thank you. I thank the viewers for their prayers and wishes. But why can't they elevate me? Maybe Kisia for president.
You're ready to face your friend, William Ruto?
Yeah, why not?
Tell me though, what have you seen? What has interested you this week in politics here in the country?
Two things stood out. The first one is the absurdity that we experienced. I think it's more of a movie than anything else. The chairman of budget committee, Ndindi Nyoro, complaining about heavy taxation, that people are being taxed so heavily, and he seemed to be empathizing with Mwananchi, that Mwananchi can no longer bear the burden. It is too heavy. What he forgot to tell us that he's the one in charge of the budget committee, and all these things pass through his hands, through his committee. He forgot even to remind himself that in the same budget, to cushion members of parliament, they put in another 2 billion shillings just to take care of these taxations that my good friend the president has come up with. He forgot to tell us. He was being a little bit dishonest and I think a bit cheeky because he's a fairly intelligent fellow. Then the other one was Rigathi, my good friend. This guy is so honest. I love the guy, man. The guy is honest.
What has he done?
You see, the guy speaks as it is, and he doesn't. The beauty with Rigathi, it is what you see. He doesn't pretend. He doesn't know how to pretend. He doesn't try and pretend that he was raised with a silver spoon, that he's well mannered. He just speaks.
What is it?
He speaks from his heart. I mean, the guy is a guy. He's my guy, man. I see Rigathi. Rigathi was empathizing with the farmers and saying, no, this thing is hurting our farmers, hurting our people. It needs review. He's number 2 in command. And then his boss even confused the Kenyans. He said he doesn't give a hook. He doesn't care what you call him. He rubbished everything. He said, you can call me whatever you call me. I'll tax you to death. He doesn't care. He doesn't actually say. He just said, I don't give a shit. So you see, this is a dysfunctional government. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. They're all confused. Some are empathizing, some are being arrogant, some are pretending, some are behaving in Cornish manners. It's ridiculous. The other thing, Jed, was this statement that was made by the president, and this one was a bit serious. You know, and this Kenya Kwanza government, from the time they took over, they have not shown us very good signs. They have made us very uncomfortable when they start talking about our resources. You know, that includes our money, that includes our assets. Hey, you know, these guys who even want to sell our heritage, how these guys, man, I mean, it's ridiculous. So this week, the head of state mobilized all state corporations into State House and the Red Riot Act. And he gave them warning. And he said he's going to sell. Actually, he said he's going to sell non-performing state corporations. And from a management perspective, I have no issues. But for heaven's sake, you must ask yourself questions before you lay your hand on any asset belonging to Kenyans. It is not your asset. It's not your family asset. You must ask yourself, why is this state corporation underperforming? The underperformance could have underlying factors, and that could be, you know, stem from even from bad political leadership. Yeah, are they historical? Is there something that can be done to revive that state corporation? It has been done before. When I took over KICC as a CEO, it was dead. The mice industry in Kenya was dead. But we revived mice industry in 3 years. Kenya went back to the international map. So, I mean, if the people who were there at that time started talking about selling that asset, you can imagine what would have been done. But just to remind them, please, even if you have to sell assets, you know, we can deal with you later on, because we shall deal with you once you leave office. I don't think we'll not deal with you. We'll deal with you. In fact, even if it means suspending the constitution for even 30 days to deal with you, we shall deal with you. Please don't lay your hands on assets. These assets, you found them there, please leave them. And most importantly, please don't try and mess up with our heritage. That one, you will go to jail whether we have this constitution or not.
The president,
in fact, if I'm the one in charge, oh my God, it won't take me a week.
The president says there are some of these state corporations, we don't even know what they're doing. That's actually him saying we don't know what these state corporations
This is a man. They're making losses. This is a man who was there as number 2 for 10 years. This is a man who has been at the helm of this country for close to 2 years, because in another 3 months, he'll have been 3-4 months. He'll have been in office for 2 years. So this is a man who doesn't know what has been happening for 12 years. I mean, is the president serious?
He says they should volunteer.
Is he serious? I'm asking him.
He has been in government.
He has been in government.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. And he has been number 2 for 10 years. At the top for almost 2 years. And before then, a minister. And he said he doesn't know. Oh, God save this country.
Best way to go with this, he says they should volunteer themselves, come out and say we are not making profits. We want you to help us and move us to other...
No, you see, that's a very rudimental way of dealing with things. There are better ways of dealing with issues to do with management. Number 1, you have a board. Task the board in, you know, reviewing the operations. Okay? You have state corporations advisory board. You have efficiency monitoring unit. You have all these agencies which write annual reports. Look at those reports and we make a decision that is informed. You can't just say, okay, you come to me. How do they come to you? To do what? To tell you what? To discuss what? There are agencies you can deal with. In fact, those agencies are under him. Efficiency monitoring, state corporations, advisory. Of course, there's a minister in charge, but that minister reports to him. Then there are boards. There are boards. Unless he's saying that the boards that he has given Kenyans are full of incompetent people. And I don't doubt him. And I mean, he has now confirmed my worst fears, that we have boards, that our assets, our state corporations are being managed by people who have no capacity.
We're giving money and there's no money coming back. That is
how can you have such a question, honestly? He knows. He has appointed boards. All these boards are run by his cronies. So the question must be to his boards. If the boards cannot answer questions, the other state agencies that he can go to, that are mandated, Auditor General, State Corporation Advisory Committee, Efficiency Monitoring. All these institutions are there to help the government and the Kenya Kwanza government in managing and in governing.
I didn't want us to speak into this conversation, to stick here, but what is the difficulty in getting people that can make these parastatals actually start making profits? What is the difficulty in that instead of just privatizing?
Goodwill, political goodwill. You know, if you want to reward your cronies, if you want to reward people who, when you say turn left, they turn left without any question, why can't you do the right thing? Do what Kibaki did. Kibaki allowed ministers to appoint chairman of boards. Kibaki allowed boards to appoint CEOs and senior management. Kibaki never interfered.
But Kibaki also
He never interfered.
He actually also privatized some corporations.
Yes, but after due process.
Okay.
He didn't just wake up and say privatize this one. No.
Let's get into a conversation for today. We're talking about division to redemption, Kenya's quest for unity. It seems it has started with Kenya Kwanza's administration, from Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua telling Mama Ngina Kenyatta that she's sorry. Watch this clip. Let's take a look at what Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua together with Moses Kuria was saying, and also Ruto's presidential candidate for 2022, George Wajakoya, on extending that olive branch.
Ningependa makamu wa rais kwa rafiki yetu ambayo tumeanza naye leo. Maana this is the first time I've shaken the hand of this man. Na nilikuwa nafikiria atanichapa kofi, lakini the man received me well. Therefore I'm extending an olive branch to you, my brother Gachagua, that siasa ni ile ya nje. Lakini sisi vile tuko saa hizi Kenya tuko sawa. Hatuko sawa ama hatuko. Isipokuwa ile mambo ingine hapa na pale tutatengeneza vile itakuwa. But I'm inviting you to come to Mumias, to have a cup of tea with the Wanga people. Probably, and this is following what you have done in the Kikuyu land. Kikuyus brought me to be who I am today.
Na nikiwa igwire ndauga mwaka muhituku kinya uhuru wa Kenyatta ni mwana witu ayo gitio na ndakana cokerio ndi mundu ndakana tengurwo ayo gitio ta muthamaki wariho na tukimwira maria twanamwira matari mega aturekere wakinya hau ringi ati no twagire aciari aitu gitio ni undu woteti tari na kuriori uteti ucio no wathirire no ciugo icio ni nditu handu twana muikia jino handu twana mutengora maitu turekere.
Kisia, it's about damn time, as Americans would say, for Kenyans to sit down and talk and for leaders to reconcile. And it has started with Mount Kenya region. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua coming and saying, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, we are sorry. Uhuru Kenyatta is our son. We love him. What underlying factors? Let's start with that. Why did we get to where we are, specifically with Mount Kenya region, where we saw it divided for the first time because of 2022 polls? What led to this?
You know, Jed, let me first of all start off by saying there is need for people to be a bit cultured. Especially those who, when people are fighting for independence, when people are fighting for the second liberation, during pre-independence, their fathers and forefathers were home guards. It appears as if they are the same people who bring problems, even post-independence. They need to have some good manners. Then we have people, when we were fighting for the second liberation of this country, there are people who opposed the new constitution. There are people who oppose the changes that we're enjoying currently. Okay? These are the people who fought the liberation. So it happens that these are the same people who have bad manners, who have come back. So, and you see, and you know, Kenya is, of course, a nation. Kenya is a large community. But a community starts from somewhere. You start from family unit. The family unit must function. There is a head who is, in a proper family, is a father. Then there's a neck holding the head, which is a mother, very important. And then there are children, in that order. So, for the first time since independence, we saw the largest community in Kenya not speak as one unit. Okay, they spoke to a large extent in terms of passing a message, but they are still disjointed. We had, we saw that in 2002 when Uhuru was going for this thing and we had Kibaki on the other side. But for the first time, the Kikuyus did not speak in one voice because of interest. There are those who wanted what they called dynasties to continue, what they called. Because even now, they are worse than dynasties, those who are right now in government. Or the ones they perceive to be dynasties to continue. And then there's another group which came up with a narrative of the hustler, the sufferer. And they came up as the Messiah. But what now we've come to discover that our problems are common. Through the cost of living, through higher taxation, we've discovered that it does not know tribe, it does not know anything. It just hits you, so long as you don't belong to the political class. So the differences we saw panned out because of those interests. People supporting different interest groups. Now, I think, for me, Jed, what really worried me, and I saw it in 2002, the way we mistreated the head of state when he was leaving office. I say this is a curse. You don't mistreat or talk down, or you don't actually mistreat an old person. That's our culture, it's part of our culture. Okay? When I saw the way especially the way people from Central Province, not all of them, but a few of them, the greedy ones, the ones who are now currently enjoying the fruits of their labor, if they ever labored, the way they mistreated Mama Ngina Kenyatta, who was not only just a first lady, she's our grandmother. I said we are a caste nation. I am happy that people like Rigathi have quickly realized, whether for selfish reasons or not, but they have realized that there was a mistake that was made. Because in African culture, you do not mishandle, mistreat an elderly person. This happened. They called her names. They even raided her home. They withdrew her security. They even now started harassing Mama Ngina's grandchildren, who were never part of them. When they were enjoying with the son of Jomo, Uhuru Kenyatta Muigai, Mama Ngina wasn't there. The grandchildren were not there. But they extended the vengeance across. So I'm happy that Rigathi has made that first move to go and seek for apologies. I am just hoping that the apology is genuine. It's coming from his heart.
That is my question.
Because the guy, and we'll come to that, the guy is under Chege. He's feeling the heat. Because Ruto is using divide and rule. He's a smart guy.
How?
Ruto has realized that if he allows Rigathi to grow the way he grew during Uhuru 1, if he allows him to grow, and he comes from a very prominent and big community, he'll become a problem very soon. So Ruto has made sure that he has put his number 2 under check. You can see even the assignments has been given. Nondescript. Things like go and deal with people who are dealing with Changa and nondescript. And then sending you their problems, heavy problems, coffee. Go and deal with farmers. And,
from his region.
And Uhuru left coffee at 120. Now the thing has dropped to 40 per kg, 40 per kg. Go and deal with that one. So he's sending you somewhere where Rigathi has started looking so bad. He's looking terrible. Okay? Now you're fought the people who would have assisted you. You are not even assisting the people who should assist because you can't, because of so many other factors. Then we have people like Kuria. Kuria is a smart guy. Kuria is actually, there was a time Kuria, I was in Kuria's party, People Empowerment Party, and Kuria wanted to run me as the governor for this city. So we come a long way. And I can tell you Kuria is a smart guy. Kuria is like a rat he will bite and blow hot air so that you don't feel the pain. He'll bite you again. You've seen when it is very convenient, he takes a quick turnaround. And even when he's attacking, his attacks are very measured. He doesn't just go like a bulldog. You know, he's measured in the way he attacks. He can attack, but then it gets to a point, he makes amend.
Yeah.
That is good. He's very tactical in the way he approaches issues. So, again, I was not surprised because Kuria and Raila have come a long way. In fact, Kuria is on record saying that Raila assisted him to go through university. So Kuria is just being smart, and again, he's preparing for his future. He knows that if Rigathi doesn't make it, politically, he doesn't make it, he's one of the people to be considered.
My next question is, are we looking at realignments for 2027? Because some would argue, why apologize now? You are harassing Mama Ngina post-election. You're already in power when her farm was getting raided, her grandchildren's house was getting raided too. Why apologize now for both Moses Kuria and Rigathi Gachagua? Is it simply for 2027?
You see, Uhuru is still a factor, or the Kenyatta family is a big factor. As I said, some of these characters who are giving us problems were children of home guards. Their grandfathers were home guards. Okay? Some of the people giving us problems, they never fought for the second liberation. Yeah? So, they have a very bad history. The Kenyattas on their side, they fought for independence. So if there's nothing else, we know them as a family. We know Mama Ngina or somebody who sacrificed herself in her youth. Yeah? To make sure that Jomo was there and he kept on fighting for this, to liberate Kenya. Okay? Now, these guys have just realized that, that the community, the Kikuyu community has woken up. And they have come to their realization that they are hurting. Their businesses they're under attack through heavy taxation. The Kikuyu community is the one who does business, most of them. The others will also do. But the majority of businessmen in this country are Kikuyus, followed by other tribes. So when you attack their business, even small businesses, where, other presidents had ignored because they know they're already paying taxes indirectly. You don't go through, indirect tax. You don't go to direct taxation. So they are feeling the pain. That community feeling pain. So now, to cushion or to appear as if you're empathizing with the community, the Kikuyu community, you must do certain things that pleases, that touches the human heart. And that includes apologizing. An apology, especially when you're apologizing to an old person, is personal. It shows that you're a human being, that you're not just a machine, that you brought yourself to a certain level, that you care about other people, especially the old and elderly. So there is actually nothing new that these fellows are doing, but preparing ground for 2027, because there's stiff competition. And this stiff competition has been brought about by who? By the president. The president has split the community. He succeeded, split completely. Split. The couriers are running on one side. Rigathi is struggling to hold Manto. Ndindi Nyoro and Kashungwa is also, they are running up and down. They have lost direction. And in between, they have given time. They have given Ruto time to govern without pressure from that community.
So they're fixing their personal regional issues. Ruto is...
Yeah, let them deal with their matters, their local issues, while I focus on dealing with national issues. And also building bridges with other communities other than Central. Because Ruto is not sure whether Central Kenya will vote for him come 2027.
What would a public, forgiveness or apology together with Uhuru Kenyatta's family, mean for Rigathi Gachagua post-2027? Because that is what he's looking for. Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni told him, let Uhuru be. Uhuru doesn't want anything to do with you. What would it mean for the Mount Kenya bloc moving forward, specifically too for Rigathi Gachagua?
It's very important that, that Rigathi reaches out and reconciles his community. Because if there's acrimony and tension within the community, and it doesn't stand as one, that you segregate, that now even Martha Karua will run with her own block, Kioni maybe run with his own block, another will run with their own block, they will be scattered.
Okay.
So it is important, because right now the person at the helm, at the political peak in terms of leadership, is Rigathi Gachagua. His only challenge is that his foundation is on sand.
Right.
And the sand is so weak, yeah, it's actually is meshy. So any time that building can actually sink, and if it sinks, then Rigathi will be no more. So he's trying to actually build his own base through reconciliation, through bringing fellows together. You know, even people who are perceived to be his adversaries, he's engaging them. And that is the thing to do, because you know, politics is not about love. I don't think William Ruto loves Rigathi Gachagua. They are there for convenience purposes. You know, President Ruto, you know, started working for becoming a president from the time Uhuru was sworn in day one. He was focused. He knew that I must one day become president within the next 10 years. Okay? And this is what I need to do. So he's been working towards being a president. But Rigathi Gachagua, who, you tell me, 3 years before the elections, was Rigathi Gachagua in your mind? Was he? He was nowhere.
Even 2 years before.
Even 2 years before.
He was nowhere. 1.5 years.
Even 1.5 years, he was nowhere. So the man is on a very weak stand. I feel sorry for him. He's feeling the heat. And you know, he's not a royal, not from royalty. You know, so maybe he has so many challenges.
So do you think Kenya, from where you sit, is divided? Or is this conversation simply for politicians who are looking to strategize for 2027? Are we a divided nation? Would you say that?
Of course, Kenya is about interest. Kenya is only glued together because our challenges are common. The cost of living does not identify tribe. Okay? When things are going wrong, it's not about tribe. So tribe is only used by those in political power to hang on to power.
Okay.
So all the moves you are seeing being propagated by the politicians is in preparation for 2027. New formations are likely to come up. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Like, I know most of you are shocked, maybe even I was shocked, to see truce between Raila and Ruto.
Yes.
But I think I'd foreseen this a few months ago, and I said, you know, never come in between these fellows. Because about interest. Because if Ruto realizes that I'm about to lose this thing, and this thing is very sweet, and the only thing I need is a handshake between myself and Raila, he'll do it. And if Raila realizes that I'm losing ground, and the only thing that I need to do is to go into bed with this man, he'll do it.
All for
it's about interest.
This is what Moses Gore said on X. To exercise the demons of divisive politics of the past, we should apologize to all Kenyans from all communities. I offer my full and unqualified apology to any Kenyan from all communities that I may have wronged in the past. For Kenyans looking at these conversations about forgiveness and reconciliation, thinking it's about themselves, how would you advise the Kenyans?
It goes beyond making a statement. Of course, a statement like that one is in the right direction. It starts with make a statement, but there's need to show goodwill. Number one, this government And the statement came from none other than Rigathi Gachagua, saying it's a government of shareholders. Almost 50% of all executive appointments have been given to one tribe. 30% of appointments given to another tribe. So two tribes are holding 70 to 80% of appointments. Can they start by correcting that one first? Can they start by correcting that one? If you look at the budget making process, you're finding that the development budget, 70% to 80% is skewed towards two directions. 50% going to one community and 20-30% going to the other community. The rest of Kenya is sharing 20%. Can we start by correcting that one? By sharing our resources equitably. Okay? So there are many things that we can do for us to believe the statements I'm making are true, and they're sincere. Otherwise, we shall just take them as mere statements. They must go beyond making statements.
Tell me, will Kenyans get tired of this reconciliation talks? Because this is what we have every single post-election. We've been having prayer breakfasts. Or is this just a political tool that we'll continue living with?
You see, unfortunately, the voter is getting smarter by the day. So you cannot keep on lying to the voter. They have been lied for enough, and we're actually coming to an end. The pain is so severe, they can no longer bear the pain. So it cannot be business as usual. They must change course, they must change tack, they must change strategy on how they have been doing their stuff.
All right.
If they don't, all these people will be united by a common factor. Pain.
Well, what a time to talk about politics. That has been Philip Kisia for you. Says politicians must change course, must change tact, must change strategy. If they are united by pain, you haven't finished the statement. What will happen after they've been united by pain?
Of course, they'll turn against you and they'll remove you from office by force and in a very crude manner. I know people say that it's not possible. This is very possible. It has happened elsewhere. It can very most likely happen in this beloved republic of ours. Don't take Kenyans for granted.
Maybe you can finish our conversation with a message to Kenyans as we're heading to the holidays. It's actually Good Friday.
Well, we're heading towards Easter. Pray for this country, and most particularly, let us pray for our president, so that he must see Kenyan as one, so that he supports his statements with deeds, so that he must exercise power through fairness. Yeah? And the lens he's using, he should see Kenya, and he should not just see one region of Kenya. We want to see that in appointments. We want to see that in resource sharing. We want to see that in everything that happens.
All right. Thank you for tuning in into that conversation from division to redemption here with Philip Kisia for Philip Kisia Unscripted. Until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely weekend. Have a blessed Easter.